Okay, welcome back to part 2 of the step. And here we're going to start modifying this little plastic part here, which is the actual step. Right now it is just a solid. And the first thing we're going to want is to create our offset so we can extrude cut a little portion out in the middle here. And then we'll come back later and add our ribbed pattern. So the way we're going to do that is we are going to, don't know why we have this here. Let's create a new sketch on this top plane, which is the top part. And from here, I'm going to want to go ahead and select offset. So offset is O on the keyboard, or up here on the quick access toolbar, it's right next to the trim and the mirror command. And once I select offset, I can hover inside the area and it will select the perimeter, or if you need to just offset particular lines, the fillet here, whatever, you can actually select specific entities. But I want to select the entire part, and you can see it's trying to offset it extending outward here. So I'm going to turn the direction towards the interior part, which would be just clicking on the arrow. And then if I click again, it will actually give me the measurement window. In this case, I do want to offset it at 5 millimeters, so I can select check here, and now I have my little offset feature, and I'm ready to then use this as two different entities. And for this time, we want to remove the interior portion down to a depth of 5 millimeters. So Shift-E on the keyboard, hover and select the interior part, and you can see it automatically defaults to add. So I actually want to remove, and when I select remove, it will be blind, and I want to remove down to a depth of 5 millimeters. And if you get it just right, you can see how it's just barely going down into the bottom. Make sure that yours just says the merge scope is the step. It should. If you did not rename your part, it will be whatever the name is down here for the part. And from here, this is actually good. This is what I want to see, so I'm going to accept it. And now I have that part. And the next step would be I want to do what's called, this is going to be a plastic part, which is a mold. So I actually want to hollow out this bottom. And what we call that in here is actually a shell feature. So shell on the quick access toolbar is up here. It's right next to the rib, which we'll use later. It's right next to the hole command. But this is the shell feature. And when you turn on the shell feature, you want to make sure that you are looking at the bottom of your part. And it will actually shell this piece out. This is very common in plastic molds, what they'll do. And you just really need to know how thick do you want the wall here to be. And for this part here, we want the wall to be actually 5 millimeters thick. Once you have your wall at 5 millimeters, then you are free to accept it. And now we have the beginnings of our step here. Check back in the next video, in part 3, we're actually going to add our line and get into the specific rib feature, which is a really cool component to use when you are modeling conceptual models. I will see you all back in a bit for the rib.